Hey, what's up Moto Next Hub fam? Today we're diving deep into the all-new 2026 Honda CBR500R, Honda's updated A2A friendly sport bike that bridges everyday usability with genuine sport bike flair. We'll break down what's new on the 2026 model, how it rides, tech, styling, performance, price, and what makes this bike stand out from the competition. So let's get straight into it. Section 1A Overview. Positioning A0:30 1 o'clock. The Honda CBR500R has always been one of the most beloved middleweight sport bikes, especially for riders stepping up from learner bikes or anyone who wants sporty performance without intimidation. For 2026, Honda has given this platform fresh upgrades that make it feel even more refined, modern, and accessible than before. IDRSS (1/2 M Sports, Section 2A. What's new for 2026? 81:008 2 o'clock. The big headline update for 2026 is the availability of Honda's e-clutch system, a semi-automatic clutch that lets you shift gears without pulling the clutch lever. This makes city riding smoother and more relaxed while retaining full manual control when you want it. You can even tune the shift feel on the e-clutch with different settings for upshifts and downshifts. IDRSS (1/2 M Sports). Beyond that, Honda has sharpened the styling with aerodynamic cues inspired by its flagship Fireblade, including new fairing shapes and winglet-like surfaces. The LED lighting has been redesigned for a wider, brighter spread, and the cockpit now features a 5-inch full-color TFT display with Honda RoadSync for smartphone connectivity and navigation. IDRSS (1/2 M Sports +1). Section 3A Engine Performance. A2:008 3 o'clock. Onto the fairing. The core of the motorcycle remains familiar. A 471 Macran cc liquid-cooled Pearl twin engine making around 47 Macron HP and 43 Macran Nm of torque. This power figure is ideal for A2 licensed riders and makes the bike lively in the city, smooth on back roads, and capable on highways without being overwhelming. IDRSS (1/2 HondaNews.tu). Honda has also fine-tuned the throttle mapping and PMF fuel injection for sharper response and smoother lower RPM manners, meaning it's easy to ride in stop and go traffic yet happy to rev out when you want to push. The addition of Honda Selectable Torque Control (HSTC) adds a layer of safety by intervening if the rear wheel slips, especially helpful in wet conditions. IDRSS (1/2 HondaNews.tu). Section 4A Handling. Chassis. A3:00 4 o'clock. Chassis balance is where the CBR500R really stands out. The diamond steel frame keeps the bike stable and predictable, and the 41 Macran Shoasfa BP inverted fork plus adjustable rear shock deliver a confidence-inspiring ride whether you're commuting or carving twisties. IDRSS (1/2 M Sports. Braking is strong too, with dual 296 Macran front discs and Nissan 4-piston radial calipers, plus a channel ABS setup that gives you consistent stopping power and confidence under hard braking. Even with the fully fueled weight around 191 Macron kg, this bike feels composed and planted. IDRSS (1/2 M Sports. Section 5A Design. Ergonomics. A4:00 5 o'clock. Design-wise, the 2026 CBR500R looks sharper and more serious. The bodywork borrows cues from bigger CBRs, giving it an aggressive sport bike stance. Combined with aerodynamic additions, it doesn't just look quick and feels purposeful even at a standstill. IDRSS (1/2 Total motorcycle. Ergonomically, the bike strikes a balance between sporty and comfortable. The seat height is about 785 Macran, which keeps things accessible for shorter riders, and the slightly forward-leaning position is sporty without being tiring on longer rides. IDRSS (1/2 M Sports. Section 6A Tech features A5:00 6 o'clock. The TFT display deserves its own shout-out here. It's clear, bright, and intuitive with phone integration through Honda RoadSync, so you can see calls, nav directions, and info right on screen. LED lighting all around adds to the premium feel, and the security system features Honda's HIS immobilizer. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2. M Sports Plus 1. You also get features like assist slipper clutch, which lightens lever effort and smooths aggressive downshifts, especially appealing if you like sportier riding. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2. Hondanews.eu. Section 7A Price Value A6:00 A7 o'clock. Now let's talk price, which is crucial for anyone considering this bike. In major markets, the 2026 Honda CBR500R starts around $7,499 for the base model and roughly $7,999 for the E-Clutch version according to early price listings in Europe. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2. https://www.motoplanet.us. In the U.S., the older 2025 CBR500R was listed around $7,399 MSRP plus destination, and while Honda hasn't officially released global prices yet for 2026 in all regions, you can expect figures in that ballpark with slight variations depending on taxes and import costs. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2. Honda Power Sports. In some countries, like Pakistan, earlier models of the CBR500R retail around the Macron 1,250,000 mark, although 2026 pricing will likely shift slightly due to the new tech and market conditions. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2. Driver.park. Section 8A Unique Selling Points A7:00 A745. So what makes the 2026 CBR500R stand out? The Macron Micro Honda E-Clutch, a rare in this segment and incredibly useful for new riders and commuters. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2 I plus minus TFT plus smartphone integration, a tech features generally found on larger bikes. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2 FY IDRSS Tittle balanced performance, a not too tame, not too wild, a perfect for daily use and weekend fun. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2 IDRSS Tittle strong brake suspension, a confident handling that rivals bikes with much bigger engines. IDRSS inverted question mark 1/2 M Sports Total Motorcycle Hondanews.eu. M Sports Outrow A7:45 A8 o'clock. Alright Moto Next Hub riders, that's the 2026 Honda CBR500R, a really compelling sport bike that blends style, tech, performance, and everyday usability. If you're thinking about your next mid-range ride or stepping up from a smaller bike, this one deserves serious consideration. Drop a comment if you want a comparative review versus rivals or idea impressions footage script next. Smash that like, subscribe, and ride safe. FYI IDRSS Tittle.